Navina. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of CommuniCon. Thank you, panelists, and thank you, everyone who has joined us virtually today. Over the next 30 minutes, maybe this discussion needs longer, duration, but over the next 30 minutes, we'll try to peel the layers of the agency-client relationship in the context of communications. Like we saw the little clip from Kaizen PR just now, the communications function has come a long way from when PR was all about having a brand, mentioned in a newspaper or represented on the front page of Times of India or an ET, right? And now the comms function is integrate. It talks about integrated marketing communications, everything from earned media to owned media and paid media too. And I'm guessing that this evolution naturally also means that the function itself possibly needs to be redefined and measured with newer metrics. And coming to today's discussion, every partnership, be it PR or any other space that we might discuss about, has its ups and downs, and PR is not exempt from that. Often it could be a case of mismatch of expectations between the corporate partner and the agency, or just gaps in communicating what is required. So today we have a mix of women from the agency side of the business and those representing brands, and it's nice that all of them have worn multiple hats at some point, so they can speak both on the clients, representing clients and agencies. So that's something that will hopefully make this discussion so much more insightful and nuanced, because you know the problems on both sides and you understand. So Bhawna, if I can come to you first, since you also head, client relations at Hill+Knowlton, and you've also, in some small stints been on the client side. I want you to tell me, does the corporate communications team on the brand side see the PR agency as an equal partner, and do they value the services tools that the PR agency and the comms function also brings to the brand? Does the top level leadership, how do they value what communications can do for the brand?
Yeah, thank you so much, Sushmita, and lovely to be here amongst all of you. So, to come to your question, I will not bucket everybody in one category. Few do, few don't. Still, we have a long way to go. Now, when I say that, I say there are clients and we are currently working with who consider us as their collaborative partner. It's all about collaboration. But there are few who only consider as executioners. There's a task list, there's an ask, ye kar do, give us the deliverables, we'll measure you, finish. So I'm not going to bucket everybody, but when it comes to the clients who understand what a PR agency, or let's not even call ourselves a PR agency, we are your communications partner, right? Now, there's always a problem we are solving, a communication challenge or a communication problem we're solving for you. So when a client understands that we are the communication partner who's able to answer or solve that challenge for them, then the storytelling starts from there. When a corporate communication team or the CEO or the marketing, the CMO team doesn't understand what's the value that the communication PR agency, let's call it that, is going to get, it never works. So it's all about collaboration. It's all about, there were a time when let me tell you, Susmita, there was a time when there was a new campaign being started by, say, a marketing person of a particular corporate. The social media agency is involved. I'm so sorry for the background. The social media agency is called, their influencer agency is called, there's a synergy meeting, but the PR agency is just told what to do. But we have seen things changing. So when there's a synergy meeting, even a PR agency is called. Because, the messaging has to be same. The communication challenge has to be, we are solving the same thing. So it's collaboration, and we when a client sees a PR agency as an equal partner, a valuable partner, that they are a valuable partner as any other platforms they are, or the partners they are with, then the it works for everyone. But there are still long way to go. As I said, there are clients who understand that, and as an agency we're able to deliver beyond what is expected. But there are certain clients who have corporate communication team who know what they want. They just need a PI agent to deliver on ABC, that's it, and their task just, that's all that is given to us. So yes and no to answer your question.
Okay.
But yes, it I really believe, and I hope that going forward, it's always about collaboration and seeing a PR agency as an equal partner and adding value to what you want to be done. So that's what I understand.
Thank you. I want to come to both Sulakshna and Smita to share their thoughts on this. Smita, if I can come to you first, what has your experience been? You've worked at multiple organizations over these about 2 decades of your experience in the communications field. What has your experience been? Has that attitude towards the communications function evolved, improved? Are agencies and the comms heads being involved as much in strategic decisions, or is it seen simply as a partner to execute what has already been decided?
So I totally resonate with what Bhawna said, right? I started my career with a PR agency, actually multiple of them, and then moved on to the corporate side. So yes, but it's evolved, honestly. It's been like over the last 20 years, it's of course evolved a lot. I've seen, I think very rarely now do brand teams expect you to solve a certain, like Bhawna said, a communication challenge or corporate communication, a communication challenge from the corporate brand point of view, and not have you at the table along with the rest of the ecosystem, right? I think that has changed as of today. And having gone through what Bhawna spoke about myself, at least I make that effort in whichever organization that I've been part of, that the PR advisory or the partner needs to be on board at the concept level. Cannot come on board at a later stage, because then it's too late to make any changes. And that's what I try and drill down all my to all my brands as well. Having said that, I think it is from both sides, right? While the corporate should make that effort, it is equally important for the advisory to not just solve a communication challenge, but be able to map it to the business goals. Most often I do see at a very pitch stage or at an annual review stage where the advisory comes or someone senior from the advisory comes, will kind of talk about some business goals that are in place, throw some data, some stats, and then say, we should do this. But the ones who are working on ground, the grassroots level members of your team, they are unable to map that business need to your communication goals. So I think there is a bit of, work to be done from both sides. It's definitely evolved, and I'm sure it will, continue to evolve and continue to get better. But yes, more investment in your, in your young talent is important to help them, to empower them to find a seat at the table.
We'll delve deeper into mapping goals and how you train the younger lot. Sulakshna, if I can come to you, your thoughts on seeing agencies as equal partners, and also how the senior leadership views the comms function.
Smita, I completely echo what Smita had to say, that it has definitely evolved, and for corporates as well. PR is now completely changing from getting the front page coverage or number of clips to a brand trust, at least for global organizations for like us, for sure. but it's more about, moving the needle in the right manner, really changing the perception. And if PR agency is not thinking from that standpoint, they can't be the real partner. So there's a huge, humongous need which is now evolved for corporations where PR agencies need to speak about the language of business in terms of as a trusted partner. Keeping their ears to the ground, coming back and not humming the same music that, we will get you in these 3 publications or whatever, and talk about the larger picture with an integrated approach. When I talk about integrated approach, it's not about, okay, fine, in quarter A, B, C, I'll get you 4 clips, 5 clips, 3 interviews, but it's about what would be the messaging. If this is a communication challenge, the messaging has to be, where will it be? Will it be in traditional media? Will it be, through influencers? Will it be through, social platforms, own platforms, through your leadership? So I guess that integrated approach of a trusted partner, that's what leaders are looking at. Leaders are essentially looking at measurement. What is my ROI in today's world with AI taking over? I keep saying that, writing good press releases and all is becoming easier. They want thinking partners on board. So definitely that need has emerged, and I can see corporate communications today working more strategically with their PR agencies, and not only telling them that, I need to take this press release out and I need 15 coverages. So that is evolving, but I will completely echo with Smita that, when senior leadership of PR agencies come into the picture, we can see a lot of these ideas flowing, this understanding. But at the end of the day, it's the execution team which executes, right? We always say that, PR agencies' work is to make the work of Popcorn easier, so that if I in a day, spend 10 to 15% of my time on strategic thing, it's fine. If I have to go on tactical things and, just keep chasing for coverage, I guess that's not the right partnership. So I guess it's evolved, but yes, people who are working day in and day out, they need to have that mindset as well.
Lavang, if I can come to you now, I think what both Smita and Sulakshna are saying is that the top level business leaders at agencies, they are very clear. They understand what these goals should be and what are the metrics that the brand is possibly looking for. And I want you to help us understand, is it that at agencies, the junior level people who are actually executing, and in fact, as journalists, we interact with them, so often that I feel like there is a lack of understanding on this I'm speaking truly just as a journalist, as to what is truly possible out there and what the brand requires, and what are steps that are being taken to bridge this gap within the agency ecosystem, understanding the business goals and conveying that message all throughout the people who are taking it forward and making this possible for brands.
I'm so glad you asked me that, Smita, because I work with Adfactors PR, and I think we have put in so much in terms of learning and development for all our people. And it's not about junior or mid-level or senior. And I'm sure some of my colleagues who are and peers who are on this panel know that as well. So I've worked with many agencies, and I've done marketing and corporate roles as well. What you say may be true to a certain extent, but my almost 6 years at Adfactors PR, one of the key things that we do is training and learning for all our people. So I would never say that junior people don't know what they're saying. For me, the youngsters that we work with today are the most intelligent and the most progressive lot. And what they bring to the table, I think we all learn from them on a day-to-day basis. And the learning never stops. What you're saying in terms of clients feel that the junior people don't understand, I don't agree. And I hope most of the people on this panel will be with me on this. They are so intelligent, knowledgeable, and they want to be actually part of everything that's happening tomorrow and not today. That's what makes the difference. And I know a lot of my friends in the media world who are journalists like you appreciate the kind of input that's coming in. So the world has changed, and that's what we were discussing earlier. it's not about junior, mid-level, senior. I think we have to look at the individual as an individual and what they bring to the table. And I just want to take a moment to tell you, because it was very interesting what we were talking about earlier as well, because the learning and development and training is what's going to make the difference in a client and agency relationship. And like some of you have already said, there is no right or wrong answer ever. But I think what's most important is, and most people on this panel are mature, experienced professionals, we need to connect the client and agency relationship to what a marriage is. And the most successful marriages are those where husband and wife seek to build self-esteem for each other. And if you have that self-esteem, and if you have that kind of mutual respect, a lot of things which are going wrong still can go right. Clients, if they come to work with you at different parts of their own career where they move different jobs, or if you moved agencies, just tells you that clients get really enough out of the agencies. And it is a mutual respect and it's faith. I'm not even using the word trust. It's faith which really makes the world go around. And I would want to take a moment more, Smita, if it's okay. And I don't want to, I would love it if you had said not PR agencies, but agencies in general or consulting firms. And what reminds me is because I started my career with Lintaz. In 1962 or something, Avis had run a campaign. It was an advertising campaign. And Hertz used to be the #1 rent-a-car company. And the client at the time, Robert Townsend, who had a challenge on his hand, and he had given this campaign to an agency to work with. One of the things he did was he did a memorandum or a pledge, which went out to the marketing teams, and the CEO did this, saying, let the consultant do his job. Let him do what he's an expert at. Please listen to him and nobody needs to interfere. That campaign became very, very popular. I will not go into it. I'm sure you can Google it and you will see it was a kind of faith that made it work. And in my own career, very, very early, and at that time, there was no training which was specific to PR. Today, I'm really lucky I work in an organization where we have customized training. Popular designer, a global designer as a client, who'd gone on record to say that the PR campaign won me an award from Business Today. I think that just tells you that how clients and agencies function. And in today's world, because we were talking unicorns and babycons and unicorns, and they really are people who matter in the news, or even the larger corporates or the medium-sized ones, when you have a double spread in a newspaper or on an online portal, a large story, phones do start ringing and even investors call. So clients do get enough, though I've been a client myself, and I think I've had great relationships. It's really a partnership from both the sides. I hope I've responded to your question.
Yes, thank you. Tarunjeet, if I can come to you, Lavang made some very interesting points. She speaks about self-esteem, self-respect, and listening to the consultant on the other side. And we were just talking about how in the PR and communications sector, there is a lot of people from the agency going to the client side, and the client side people coming and saying, I think one of you just said that I feel more comfortable on the agency side of the business. So when swaps of this nature happen, does this bring the community closer? Is that self-respect a lot more there? Are people more willing to listen to what is being said by both parties? Or is it that the battle lines that are drawn are just deeper?
So, it's a bit of both. Thank you, Sushmita, for that question. It's a very, very interesting one. And there are a lot of these shifts that are happening, not just from agency to Corpcom, but also through the media. So the triangle kind of gets merged a little bit. And there is a lot of duplication in terms of what everybody perceives PR to be, right? As it is, PR is going through, I think it's in a state of flux, which is a great place to be in, because this is where we will get ideas in terms of where and how do we move forward as an industry, right? But when that happens, battle lines are definitely drawn at some point of time. But I would say that it depends on the individual. It depends on an individual to be able to be mature enough to be able to understand that, yes, I know a part of the job. I don't know everything about the job, right? And I think it's fair to say that for every particular, whether you are in corporate communication, whether you are an agency professional, or you're in journalism, or you're in digital, because all of them kind of swap roles with corporate communication to be able to handle a PR mandate or a reputation management mandate, as a lot of people have called it. It's a little difficult for either party to work if they believe that they know everything, right? Like I've heard this from everybody on the panel today. It's a question of trust. It's a question of creating an equation with the other person in front of you, right? That's what is essential. Now, while that is, you need to be able to trust the partner, one, and have the humility to understand that I don't know everything, right? I'm going to be the better person. I'm going to be the bigger person by being able to ask the person in front of me, saying, can you let me know what this means, right? And there is no shame in that. There is no, if there is an ego battle, then obviously all of it falls flat. But if you have the humility and the humbleness and the maturity to be humble enough to say that I don't know everything, and this is where I think it's a start of a beautiful relationship in terms of trust. Now, while we've said that, there is one question that I would like to kind of, one point that I would like to make, where I've heard a lot of both Smita, Sulakshna, Lavang, and Bhawna kind of talk about ROIs and talk about, business goals, talk about reputation goals, etc. Now, and there is a disparity between the senior leadership and the team that is actually working on ground. Now, while a lot of the clients that come to us also talk about asking us, they ask us, how will you, move the needle on our reputation, which is brilliant, right? We do a guesstimate. We really don't do a estimate of it because we still haven't signed an NDA. We're not privy to what exactly is happening in a particular organization. When you're looking at doing a pitch, you pretty much do a guesstimate of how you would like to move the reputation needle, right? You cannot ask your agency to say, how does this match my business goal? If you are to ask that at the end of the year during a review meeting, how did this match up to my business goal, or how did this impact my business goal? That's something that you need to tell your agency at the start, right? Now, that is a very iffy road. It's not really very clear. Neither the agency nor the corporate communication partner knows how exactly that is going to happen. But that's something that they have to work together jointly to be able to understand that at the end of the year, when we present this to the leadership team, when we present, we are a team. We're a team together. It's not one versus the other. It's not one asking the other, or it's not a one-upmanship game. It's a team that is working together to be able to understand that if I'm asking you to move, I'm asking my PR advisory partner to be able to move the reputation needle, I also need to tell them how it will impact my business goals. And what are the business goals that I need to look out for so that at the end of the year, at a review meeting, this is something that can be presented. It cannot be a surprise for the agency review session.
Okay, we have 5 minutes. And I wanted to come to measurement by the end of this, and I'm glad you've helped me with that segue. So I'll possibly come to Smita first. I think the point that Tarunjeet is making, how clear is it at the beginning of the year, or when the project starts with a communications partner? What is the business goal? What are the metrics that the brand is going to look at? And is there enough clarity and uniformity in understanding, right from the senior level management, the comms team, and the advisory on the other side? Is it uniform, the understanding uniform? How are things, and what are the metrics?
So yes, Sushmita, that's very important. I think Tarunjeet is, her point was right. It was bang on, because if you don't, and I do agree that a lot of times that there is a lot of gap in communicating in terms of passing on information to your PR advisory and partner, right? And then you expect them to map it to business goals. It's not right. I've been fortunate enough to have always worked in organizations where the leadership is very, very invested in this function, and hence every business is basically vets their business, their annual business reviews and plans with us before it is, it's cascaded down the organization. Once it comes to us, we do understand what needs to be passed on, what does not need to be passed on. And then we share that with us. So by April, we are kind of done with that exercise. We have already passed on to our advisory. They've already made their plans, mapped to the business goals, and it's already sorted with all 14 businesses. That's important. But along with that, it's also, see, in PR, with the evolution of technology, I think we've been very fortunate today to have a lot of tools in place which helps us to reduce spillovers, right? You have your media monitoring agencies, you've got your social listening agencies, which help you to do more contextual communication. So, and also your whole reputation study, right? Which happens, of course, once a year or maybe twice, depending on a lot of things, but there should be short-term goals which help you to move towards your final reputation score, so as to say. So yes, there are a lot of tools in place. There's also a complete framework which helps you to, I think, PR. There's a lot of, because we largely play with the media landscape, and that being so big in our country, there's a lot of spillover. There is a constant, your media monitoring partners will always help you to constantly audit that. Like, how much of a spillover have you had? Here with Lavang is from Adfactors. Adfactors is one of my, they manage most of the accounts. We, of course, have other partners as well, most of the accounts. And she'll know from her partners that there's a constant audit of how much of spillover is happening, because that's what we use our tools to kind of to manage that. Just, I'm going to deviate a bit, Smita. Sorry.
Okay, we have just 1 minute.
Yes, I'm going to take 30 seconds and just deviate a bit and address Lavang's point on the young talent. Now, I don't think Sulakshna's and my point was on young talent not being smart enough. They are one of the smartest, right? And honestly, even we do bank on them for the creativity, because the kind of creativity that the next generation will always have, and I'm saying always the next generation, maybe for them it will be the generation after that, will always be smarter. With that in mind, but it's you can't say that my child is smart, so let's just not teach her anything. So while the talent is smart, they need that training. Having said that, yes, I'm also going to, kind of address the fact that Adfactors has one of the strongest training, programs for their teams, and it definitely shows. So hats off.
We are at 4:30. I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. I knew this conversation. I knew 30 minutes is not going to be enough, and we should, have this once again. Sometime soon. But thank you so much, everyone. I hope those who tuned in learned something new from everybody here. And thank you, everyone, for being here. Lavang, Bhawna, Tarunjeet, Smita, and Sulakshna. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Smita, all I want to say is that I see familiar faces which have come in. Faith and trust is what makes it all go around.
Absolutely.
Always.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
So much. Thank you.